All right, what's up, everybody? I'm going to be going through the 3:30 or some of the 3 p.m. games all the way through 4:30 p.m. games on January 30th, 2021. Make sure to check out the link in the description to this video to get all my picks for the 30th. And I'm going to be going through these pretty quick. So, first up, I'm going to be going over the Weber State and Idaho game. Now, this game is a rematch from a couple of days ago, and Weber State rightfully crushed Idaho. This is that game. And Weber State is only favored by 13 right now, so I would go ahead and jump on that while you still have time. Because even though it's a back-to-back, not back-to-back exactly, but it's a rematch, only a couple days apart. I don't think Weber State's going to give this one up. They got to keep their wins going to make it into the tournament. Next up, we're going to be doing Wisconsin at Penn State. And I would take Penn State. No, not Penn State. I would take Wisconsin because Wisconsin's only giving up 3.5 right now against Penn State. Wisconsin's got some pretty good wins here. Penn State is got some good wins too. But I just like Wisconsin here. This one seems like an easy game to me. Famous last words, right? Next up, the game I'm going to go to is a 4 p.m. game, and I'm going to skip over all of these because I couldn't really find anything good in there. Like Louisiana Tech would be a good pick, but they're giving up 11 points today. So instead, I'm going to FSU at Georgia Tech, and I'm going to be betting against one of my favorite teams here, Georgia Tech. They've been covering for me lately. Or maybe they didn't cover against. No, they actually didn't cover against Duke, but they came really close. Well, I don't know. It depends on what point spread I got that day. I forget. But FSU is a really strong team, and because of that, I would take FSU in this game. Next up is going to be Rhode Island at the Dayton Flyers, and they're kind of similar teams, but Dayton's got a strong win. Who did they just beat? So Dayton just beat St. Louis, and Rhode Island barely beat Fordham, which is one of the worst teams, and they lost to Duquesne or whatever their name is. So I really like Dayton here. I would take Dayton in this matchup. Next up, we're going to be going over the Auburn game. Auburn is at Baylor, and they are getting 14.5 points. And I like Auburn. Auburn's a good team. And they just played Missouri, who is one of the best teams in the country, and they won. So I would take, and they barely lost to Arkansas. So I would take Auburn getting the points. Baylor's one of the best teams in the country, but I still like Auburn getting the points. Next up, Arkansas at Oklahoma State. I really like Arkansas getting 2.5 points here. I would take the 2.5 points. They've been playing really well, as you can see. And Oklahoma State is good as well. I just like Arkansas here. Next up is Wichita State. Central Florida, Wichita State. Wichita is only giving up 6 points to UCF. UCF is not that good, so I'm okay. Wichita State giving up those points. They beat Tulsa. Barely lost to Houston. UCF barely won against ECU. They have a whole bunch of losses. So I like Wichita State in this matchup. Next up is Mercer at Wofford. This has already gone up a little bit, but I would take the over 149. Both of these teams score a ton. So, and I mean, Wofford's defense is pretty good, but they just lost to Citadel, and Citadel is not supposed to be that good. So I don't know if I have faith in Wofford this time. And Mercer can score a lot of points too, so I kind of like the over on this one. Next up is Citadel at Eastern Tennessee. I really like Citadel because they can score a lot, and I went against my gut last time, and maybe I'm wrong. I mean, because look, Citadel just beat Wofford, who we just talked about. And Citadel's getting 11.5, and they score a ton. So that's why I'm okay. I'm okay picking up Citadel here, 11.5. They can score. They might not be as good as Eastern Tennessee. I think Eastern Tennessee has got some good wins. Yeah, they've beaten VMI, beaten UNCG. Okay, maybe they don't have. I mean, they win against Furman is pretty good. So they got some decent wins, but they're giving Citadel 11.5. I'd rather pick up the 11.5. Next up is the Houston Baptist game. Where's that one at? So Houston Baptist at Texas A&M. They're similar teams, but as you can see, Houston Baptist is pretty good at covering. And Houston Baptist, I actually ruined one of my bets against Incarnate Word. So they've got a win more recently. I like that win. I didn't expect them to win. And so I'd be willing to give up, or I think they might be getting points. So Houston Baptist is getting 2.5. I would take the 2.5 and bet on Houston Baptist. Okay, the last one I'm going to speak about in this matchup is Delaware State at Norfolk State. And these two played recently, like a couple weeks ago. And both times Delaware State did pretty good. I mean, this time they lost by, 11? And this time they tied it up in normal period and then lost in overtime. And they are getting 13.5 now. So I would take the 13.5. I like that. I like Delaware State. They could score a lot. So those are my picks for the 3 to 4 p.m. games on January 30th. 2021. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and stay tuned for the 5 p.m. We still have a lot to go. We have 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 7, so forth. A lot of games. Saturday. Thanks for watching.